हाँ हाँ डीपीटी वही वही काम है उसका। चलो चले तो शुरू करते हैं। लाइट, अच्छा बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग इंटरेस्टिंग चीजों के ऊपर बात करेंगे। लाइट इज ऑल वी नो इज अ सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी, सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी, ठीक है। अब बात आता है लाइट आता कहां से है, वेयर डज लाइट कम फ्रॉम। तो इन ऑर्डर टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड समथिंग कॉल्ड EMS। ये थोड़ा हाई लेवल है, इवन आपको लक्ष्मी सिंह में भी नहीं मिलेगा, लेकिन यू विल अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज EMS। EMS stands for electromagnetic spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum, इसको हम बोलते हैं EMS। और ये इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक स्पेक्ट्रम हमें कौन देता है, हमें देता है और नहीं कोई और नहीं, वो है हमारा सूर्य देव, ठीक है। यह सन जो भी छोड़ता है ना बेटा, तो आपको क्या बोलता है, सन गिव्स अस सनलाइट, ये तो पढ़ के आ रहे हो ना। तो ये जो है ना, ये अभी हमें नोशन चेंज करना होगा। सन हमें सनलाइट नहीं देता है, सन हमें जो देता है वो है एक बहुत बड़ा स्पेक्ट्रम, ठीक है ना। ये है हमारा सन, और सन हमें देता है समथिंग विच इज नोन एज अ बिग स्पेक्ट्रम, एंड दैट स्पेक्ट्रम इज कॉल्ड इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक स्पेक्ट्रम। स्पेक्ट्रम मतलब whenever you go to say Ratnadeep and you want to buy shampoo, then you get a spectrum, मतलब बहुत सारा ऑफरिंग्स है शैम्पू में, आपको कौन सा चाहिए, सनसिल्क चाहिए, डोव चाहिए, ये चाहिए, गोबर का पानी भी है जिससे आप नहाना चाहो, ठीक है ना। तो मल्टीपल चॉइसेस। तो इस स्पेक्ट्रम, सन का जो ये स्पेक्ट्रम है ना, इसको याद रखने के लिए देयर इज अ वेरी नाइस इजी देसी फॉर्मूला, एंड आई कॉल दैट एज गाड़ी। हाँ गाड़ी XUV, ठीक है ना, इन माई रेंज। हाँ ये मैं ग्रेड 12 तक को सिखाता हूँ। गाड़ी XUV इन माई रेंज, इफ यू रिमेंबर दिस वर्ड इट इज इजी। गाड़ी स्टार्ट्स विद G। तो सन के स्पेक्ट्रम में सबसे पहले हमें मिलता है गामा रेज, हाँ गामा रेज। उसके बाद आता है XUV, X मतलब हमें मिलता है एक्स रेज। उसके बाद हमें मिलता है UV का मतलब है ultra, how they see is ultraviolet, okay, ultraviolet. Then comes in मतलब हमें मिलता है infrared, ठीक है। फिर है in my का मतलब हो गया माइक्रोवेव, ठीक है। और उसके बाद आता है रेडियो वेव्स, ठीक है ना। इतने सारे वेव्स लाइट सन छोड़ रहा है, हम क्या जानते हैं, हम सिर्फ सनलाइट के बारे में बात करते हैं ना, सनलाइट। तो आज से कैसे याद रखना है, गाड़ी XUV इन माई रेंज, G stands for gamma, X stands for X-rays, U stands for ultraviolet, then comes infrared, then comes microwave, then comes radio waves। थोड़ा जानते हैं सबके बारे में, जस्ट फॉर नॉलेज के लिए। गामा रेज, सबसे पहले गामा रेज अगर आपके जिंदगी को तबाह करने का कोई भी चीज है, दिस इज एब्सोल्युटली कैंसरस, ओके, दिस इज एब्सोल्युटली कैंसरस। हाई पेनिट्रेटिव पावर है इसको, हाई पेनिट्रेटिव पावर मतलब ये कंक्रीट को भी पार कर जाता है, हाई पेनिट्रेटिव पावर। इसलिए गामा रेज में एक्सपोजर अगर आपका हो गया, देन यू विल हैव, इट्स ऑलमोस्ट लाइक नॉट सनबर्न, इट्स कैंसर। गामा रेज आर will kill you slowly, it will cause cancer to you. X-rays, you know, right? These are X-rays which are coming from sun, when you go to a hospital you are creating this X-rays artificially. Whenever there will be any hot surface and electron hits it, an X-ray is created. So this also has huge penetrative power. X-rays are also not good. Whenever, I don't know how many of you people have undergone X-ray, whenever your X-ray will happen, even the operator will not be there in that room, only you will be in that room. Even he will go to the other room and put a protective clothing, because X-rays also go, and whenever you, these are called radiations, जैसे radiations आपके अंदर जाएगा आपके बॉडी में कुछ ना कुछ डैमेज तो वो करेगा, हल्का होने से भी करेगा, इसलिए बैक टू बैक एक्सरेज नहीं करते हैं। अंडरस्टूड? whether it is X-ray, whether it is MRI, whatever you do, MRI is not that. Then comes, this is ultraviolet, even this is UV rays. Though we use UV rays for cleaning bacteria, have you seen, if you go to beauty salons and all these scissors and other things will be kept in one violet type compartment के अंदर रहता है, that's called a UV ray sanitizer. UV rays are also used for cleaning bacteria in your all these aquaguards or live pure Kent RO UV filter के साथ बोलते हैं ना, तो ये सब कैसा है, ultraviolet rays. But ultraviolet rays are again not good for, that is low intensity. Even ultraviolet rays will also cause cancerous. यहां तक जितना कुछ चीज है ये सब में तो लफड़ा है. तो फिर सर हम जो सन के अंदर खड़े हो जाते हैं, हमारे अंदर ये सब क्यों नहीं घुसता है? क्योंकि यहाँ पे सन एक ओजोन लेयर मेंटेन करता है. आई होप यू हैव हर्ड अबाउट इट. ओजोन लेयर, ये ओजोन लेयर क्या करता है, ऑल दीज हार्मफुल रेडिएशंस को हम तक पहुंचने ही नहीं देता है. इट सेंड्स इट बैक. सो इफ यू आर डूइंग पोल्यूशंस यूजिंग CFCs, हम बोलते हैं क्लोरोफ्लोरोकार्बन्स, यू क्रिएट ओजोन होल्स. देयर वेर 2 होल्स ऑन अर्थ एंड सम प्लेसेस, ठीक है ना, जैसे रेडिएशन शार्प हो जाता है वहां पे. लाइक इफ यू गो टू ऑस्ट्रेलिया and if you are walking, then you will see the street always has banners on it in summers and all. Means Australia mein the sky is absolutely blue and the sunshine is very very bright, very bright. So they will say that always wear a hat, long sleeve clothes and sunglasses, so much that in Australia even if you buy a sunglass from a footpath also, that also has to be UV proof, ultraviolet protection के साथ. And have you seen Australian cricket team players and all white होके रहता है ना? The beauty, the sunscreen that we use, that is SPF 20+. कभी भी आप कोई भी क्रीम जो आप यूज करते हैं बाहर जाने के लिए, just see what is the SPF protection, sun protection film. That is SPF 20+. Theirs it is SPF 30-35+. So when you put SPF 35+, 15, 20, in India it's not that harsh. I mean, when I used to work there, even first of all I used to wear a lot of half sleeves. मेरे स्किन में पैचेस हो गए, मतलब, and leukemia is very common, skin cancer हो जाता है. The sun is very very bright, very bright. और हमारे यहाँ pollution होता है करके. Otherwise, if you remember, I don't know, Saturday was a very bright sunny day in the morning. The sky was blue. Sky was blue. I even clicked a picture also and kept it. This will be absolutely blue. So ये हो गया हमारा UV rays, ठीक है ना. इसके बाद आता है इंफ्रारेड रेज. इंफ्रारेड्स हम किस में यूज करते हैं बेटा? ऑल सॉर्ट्स ऑफ रिमोट कंट्रोल्स दैट यू रन, every remote control has got a IR emitter. So this is the infrared emitter. Remotes work on this infrared ray, and when you press a button you actually can't see any ray, but if you switch on your mobile camera and you hold here and you press a button in the mobile screen, you can see the light. हाँ बिल्कुल दिखेगा. ये चलाने से भी बंद हो जाएगा, आप घर में जाके कर सकते हैं. You put up, you should have an infrared. You don't see any rays coming out. So infrareds are emitted by any hot object. Infrared. Daddy was suffering recently back pain. He used to use one red lamp. Have you seen that red lamp? Is called infrared lamp. So infrared is emitted by any hot object. Let's say, for example, I make this room dark, pitch dark, and I keep some hot karhai out here, and you walk, you're not going to touch it. Don't you feel that there is a hot object nearby? You're not able to see. How do you feel it? That is because of the infrared emissions. Any hot object will emit infrared. Suppose sometimes you're walking outside and there is somebody's AC's exterior unit of the air condition. Don't you feel hot when you're going near it? That hot you're feeling because it's of infrared, and infrared is also used for all these communications of remote controls and everything run on infrared. Hanji? No, Bluetooth is a different thing. Bluetooth is a complete different technology. IR we use for any, IR means the mobile will have a IR, and the IR has a hex code. We call it a hexadecimal code. So every time every button has a different hex code. So that hex code goes and hit. That's an IR transmitter. You will have an IR receiver on the TV. It will decode that hex code. In fact, you can use this remote to turn off these light fans. I've done this many a times. From your dad only, I used to take old remotes. And then you can program this remote and you can get the hex code. With that hex code, you can program your microcontroller, and then you can use this remote to run whatever you want. And nowadays, these phones come with something called IR Blaster. Blaster? Yeah, IR Blaster is a feature enabled on many mobile phones with which you can turn on off any ACs, any televisions. You just need to program what is the manufacturer. So just for broad line, infrared is emitted by any hot object and is also used for remote controls, IR. ठीक है? When you go sometimes very near to something, doors keep on opening, and when you get away, the door closes. Have you seen these type of doors? Malls mein, those are also IR sensor door. ठीक है? Then the best thing, washrooms in malls and all. When you take your hand and the water comes out, have you seen? There's a sensor. That's the IR sensor. It has to sense your particular farm. हाँ है ना, सब इसमें भी रहते हैं, फ्लशेस भी रहते हैं ऑटोमेटिक. It has to sense your temperature. Okay, infrared समझ लिया हमने, ठीक है? Infrared is used for anything that is hot objects. Or then comes to microwave. The whole world of communications runs on this. All your mobile phones. You will think microwave मतलब खाना बनाना. Yes, that's also correct. There you generate microwave. Otherwise, microwave is for entire communication. The entire communication band, right from mobiles to your Star TV, Jio, Hotstar, whatever you are watching, is all happening from the electromagnetic spectrum. And then comes radio waves. These are radio waves, as you know, for any radio communication. Radio communication from, that can be the radios like Akashvani radio, or it can be radio waves used for, these are also, these two are precisely used for communication. This is a better tool that we use nowadays, and this one works fantastically nice. In fact, see how beautiful the world is. When Russia faced, Russia was having a lot of, what is that called? What is the word? Not war, that America puts sanctions. So when you put sanctions and sanctions and sanctions, then what happens? There are many people of, say, England who are working in Russia also. Possible. So Russia has also put sanction, like I have put a sanction on all American, say, TV channels. I have put a sanction on BBC in Russia, right? So you are a British national, you can't access BBC. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Suppose today if I put a sanction on YouTube, you can't see YouTube. Now how does the British person there get to know what is happening in the world all across? Internets and all things we can jam, we can sanction. This line is always open. Radio waves. BBC started their radio broadcast just for this purpose after Russia got sanctioned. In fact, I don't know how many of you know this story. When Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was put under house arrest by the British, okay? He was put under house arrest, means he is arrested in his house, not allowed to go out. He disguises, goes out from that the car is still there. If you ever go to Kolkata, go to Netaji Bhavan and see that car. He goes from there and then to Howrah, and then comes to a place called Gomo in Bihar. And from there, he travels to Peshawar in disguise. From Peshawar, crosses Afghanistan, then Iran, then lands in Germany, and then talks from Radio Germany, first time, that I am Subhash speaking. And that puts the British completely into surprise, because those days radios used to work. Even we have also listened. ये चीज समझ में आया आपको? No, it's not jammed houses. Radio is a communication which you can use any day. You don't need internet. Suppose the internet goes out of order, everything goes away. There's mass destruction. How do I reach you? Radio. How did we listen to cricket matches in 1983 when India won? We never had television those days. Radio. Radio waves will be traveling. ठीक है, ये communication is like एकदम fast end. ये like sound waves, they will be traveling. इसको आप पकड़ सकते हैं. Right? Yes.
The satellites which are in outer space, what do they use? Radio waves or radio?
Satellites will be communicating via microwave to you. Radio waves will not use. Microwaves will be used. Right? Now, what exciting happens is, the exciting thing that happens here between this. इसी को आप रोज देखते हो. This is Vibgyor. This is the visible part which you call as light. आप सिर्फ इतना सा पोर्शन देखते हो आंखों से, क्योंकि ये वायलेट, इंडिगो, ब्लू, ग्रीन, येलो, ऑरेंज, रेड. वायलेट के आगे अल्ट्रावायलेट, रेड के उस साइड infrared, and this is the visible portion of light that you see. So what excites you is very small portion of the entire electromagnetic spectrum. सिर्फ यही आप देखते हो और इसी पे आप खुश हो जाते हो. लाइट, हाँ, ये सब मिक्स होने से व्हाइट हो जाता है. इंफ्रारेड, The red is the last color. The sunlight that we see, light, comprises of 7 colors, which in Hindi we call as Indradhanush, right? So these are the 7 colors of the rainbow, and the 7 colors are Vibgyor. Vibgyor stands for violet, indigo, blue, green, and you know that. Okay, right. If you go by, say later we will learn about wavelength, frequency, and all. But for your level, this much is sufficient. So next time when you talk with anyone and you say there is sunlight, the sunlight is not just sunlight. The sunlight is coming with a plethora of items, just like a Santa Claus. It's coming with Gaadi XUV in my range. And what excites you every day, saying light, 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 is a very small portion of the entire thing that you are seeing. इसी को देख के हम रेबैन के चश्मे पहन लेते हैं, बड़े खुश हो जाते हैं. क्या हो गया बेटो? नहीं, if anything, तो अरे, so that is called निकला. Did it bleed? Just put Borolin a bit. नहीं लगा लो ना, this antiseptic ना, it's good. Just put it. हाँ, लगा लो. So हाँ, is this much understood? The introduction about light, मजा आया? कुछ नया जानने को मिला? ठीक है? तो गाड़ी XUV in my range याद रखिएगा. आइए, ये था ज्ञान की बातें. अब आते हैं लाइट के ऊपर. ठीक है? In grade 8 we will study. अच्छा, so light को higher classes में इसको हम पढ़ते हैं and we use the word called optics. So you won't say light, light, light anymore. When you go to higher classes, the chapter name changed to optics. ठीक है ना? और इस optics में typically since we are working with the visible part, इसको हम grade 12 में पढ़ेंगे with the name ray optics. Ray optics. ठीक है? तो ये छोटी छोटी वर्ड्स हैं, जानने. ऐसा नहीं कि somebody will ask you, just for your information. Light goes into the chapter, and see in physics, the branches of physics are like this. We will have mechanics, we will have sound. Sound will be studied under the name called acoustics. Light comes under optics, magnetism, electricity, and nuclear physics. These are classical physics. This is modern physics, nuclear physics. So we have mechanics, जिसमें हम फोर्स वगैरह ये सब पढ़ते हैं. ठीक है? उसके बाद क्या पढ़ते हैं? लाइट आ गया, ऑप्टिक्स. उसके बाद हम क्या पढ़ेंगे? इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. उसके बाद क्या पढ़ेंगे? मैग्नेटिज्म पढ़ेंगे, एक्वास्टिक्स पढ़ेंगे. ठीक है? और बाकी ये सब आगे रे ऑप्टिक्स. तो आइए आज we'll get into our chapter of grade 8. ठीक है? Now light, a source of energy, and slowly we say some things that we know. Light travels in a straight line. इसको हमने कहाँ पे पढ़ा था? 7th class में भी पढ़ा था. How do you prove that light travels in a straight line? Put any object in front of it, then the shadow is cast. So that proves. So this thing is known as rectilinear propagation of light. Good, you know this. Propagation of light. Rectilinear propagation of light means light travels like photo frames, frame ऐसे travel कर रहा है. And light travels in a straight line. But when you go to grade 12, you will first learn that light does not travel in a straight line. Light also bends. So they introduce it very nicely in NCERT, saying that light has also grown up from grade 8 to grade 12. So now light has started to bend. So light will be bending. Light bend करता है ना? आपको एक example दे देता हूँ. Make my whole house dark and have illumination only in this particular room. Right? Is light not traveling into my bedroom? Do you actually need a light to go to that room? No. How did the light go there? Corners में bend हो जाता है light. ये हम पढ़ेंगे higher classes में. तो rectilinear propagation of light आप जानते हैं, right? Okay. अब देखते हैं, अब कुछ चीजें देखते हैं, आपके नॉलेज को टेस्ट करते हैं, क्या आप ये सब जानते हैं या नहीं. ठीक है? These are very important from knowledge purpose. So let's say we take sources of light. Sources of light जब हम पढ़ते हैं तो दो चीजें पढ़ते हैं यहाँ में, luminous versus नॉन ल्यूमिनस, luminous versus non-luminous, luminous object, luminous versus non-luminous objects. Very important for you to understand. Luminous objects, objects which emit light of their own are called luminous object. For example, the sun, the glowworm. समझ में आ रहा है? अगर आप एक ऑब्जेक्ट हैं और आपसे लाइट खुद पैदा होता है तो हम कहते हैं कि आप ल्यूमिनस हैं. अ लिट इलेक्ट्रिक बल्ब, अ लिट इलेक्ट्रिक बल्ब, जब बल्ब जल रहा है तो हम उसे क्या कहेंगे? ल्यूमिनस सोर्स कहेंगे. व्हाट इज नॉन ल्यूमिनस? ऑब्जेक्ट्स विच डू नॉट एमिट लाइट ऑफ देयर ओन. सबसे पहला एग्जांपल आता है मून. We feel that the moon is emitting light. No, the moon reflects the sunlight. So moon is a, all planets are also non-luminous. Moon is non-luminous. ठीक है ना? Mirror is non-luminous. An electric bulb is a classic example. When it is turned off, it is non-luminous. When you turn it on, it becomes luminous. So have you understood the difference? Avian clear hai? What is a luminous source? A luminous source means a source which emits its own light. A luminous object is an object which emits its own light. समझ में आया? रास्ते में गया, ड्रैगन मिल गया, निकाल दिया, वो भी ल्यूमिनस सोर्स है. हाँ, है ना? है तो आँख खत्म हो गया तो नॉन ल्यूमिनस हो गया. उसको जाके पूछना, हे ड्रैगन, आर यू ल्यूमिनस और नॉन ल्यूमिनस? ठीक है? मुंह से जब वेल्डिंग की तरह आग निकाल के ये मुंह फिर गधो को गधो आसी नहीं, गधो पुड़ी गेছি. ठीक है? जली गेছি गधो. क्लियर? ल्यूमिनस एंड नॉन ल्यूमिनस. ओके, इसके बाद हम आते हैं तीन और चीजों में. ऑब्जेक्ट्स की एक और क्लासिफिकेशन होती है, ट्रांसपेरेंट, ट्रांसलूसेंट, यस, एंड द थर्ड इज नोन एज opaque, transparent. Transparent objects are those objects. Transparent. Please show transparency in your process. मतलब आप जो कर रहे हैं उसको पूरा दिखाइए, छुपा के कुछ मत कीजिए. So transparent objects are those objects which allow 100% of light to pass through them. To allow majority of the light to pass through them. We don't say 100%, it's majority, because every object, when light strikes any object, सुनो ये चैप्टर सुनने का है. When light strikes an object, some part will be reflected, some part will be transmitted, and some part will be absorbed. अगर आप ट्रांसमिशन बहुत ज्यादा कर देते हैं, मतलब यहां से यहां आर पार भेज देते हो, तो हम आपको क्या बोलेंगे? आप ट्रांसपेरेंट हो, like glass, lenses. Have you understood? Scale is a grade 4 level exam. What is scale? Weighing scale. Scale नाम का कोई चीज आता ही नहीं है. What you're trying to say is acrylic. That material, acrylic. ये glass नहीं है. By the way, you know this, right? All the window panes after B tower are not glass. They are all acrylic. Glass was there only in tower A and tower B. These are not glass. These are acrylic. Acrylic हल्का होता है, glass बहुत भारी होता है. ठीक है? Right. So transparent will allows majority of light to pass through. ये समझ में आया आपको? इसका एग्जाम्पल आप क्या देंगे? The best example is glass, acrylic. Translucent allow only a portion of light. Allows only a portion of light. जैसे बटर पेपर, ट्रेसिंग पेपर आपने देखा, फ्रॉस्टेड ग्लास. अब मान लो हम उजैर को नहलाने ले गए और ट्रांसपेरेंट वाला ग्लास लगा दिया, तो क्या हो जाएगा? ये मामला पूरा गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. इसीलिए बाथरूम के ग्लासेस कैसे होते हैं? ट्रांसलूसेंट होते हैं. ट्रांसलूसेंट मतलब दे विल गिव यू अ ब्लर्ड इमेज, है ना? ट्रांसपेरेंट वाला बाथरूम में ग्लास मत लगा लो, फिर नेक्स्ट दिन हो गया तुम्हारा स्कूल जाते ही वो होम अलोन देखा है किसी ने? हाँ, वो होम अलोन जैसा हो जाएगा फिर. ठीक है? ओपेक does not allow light to pass through. क्या देंगे इसका एग्जाम्पल? वुडन डस्टर, राइट, वुडन डस्टर, टेबल, पीस ऑफ आयरन, ये सब ओपेक है. ओपेक कोई भी लाइट को पास करने नहीं देता है. ट्रांसपेरेंट जो है वो ज्यादा से ज्यादा लाइट को पास करने देगा. ट्रांसलूसेंट ओनली अ पोर्शन. ओपेक डज नॉट अलाउ any light to pass through it. So far what did you learn? You learned about the electromagnetic spectrum of the earth, of the sun, of which only a small portion is light, and the light that is the white light that you see, and it is comprising of 7 different colors and spans from violet to red. On the left hand side of violet will be ultraviolet, on the other side of red will be infrared. Then you learned about light sources of rectilinear propagation, which you are already aware of. Then we said in terms of sources of light, we can have luminous source or a non-luminous source. A luminous source is one. Both will actually give you light, but a luminous one will have its own light. A non-luminous will be actually either reflecting light from any other body. Classic example being moon. Then we saw how optically objects behave. Somebody can be transparent, somebody can be translucent, and somebody can be opaque. इतना क्लियर हो गया? आइए नेक्स्ट. अब कुछ इमेजिनरी थिंग्स. रे. अच्छा, कहते हैं ना रे ऑफ लाइट. रे नाम का कोई चीज होता नहीं है. देयर इज नथिंग कॉल्ड अ रे ऑफ लाइट, बट स्टिल व्हाई डू वी स्टडी इट? The ray is a imaginary conceptualized, what do you say, an understanding. We have this understanding of having rays because it helps us to understand the geometry of optics. Geometry. आगे चल के जब आप image formation वगैरह पढ़ेंगे तो इन सबको समझने के लिए हमें क्या करना पड़ता है? Just like for example, what are measurements? Measurements are also something conceptualized. To design this t-shirt to fit your body, we have to assign some numbers to certain portions of your t-shirt, that the length of the sleeve or how much is the depth of the collar. Have you understood? These are understanding, or these are concepts, or these are protocols that we have put to put things into place to understand the nature of light or the science behind it. If you ask majorly how images are formed, how shadows are formed, how should you design a particular mirror, what type of lenses we should be using, all these fall under a geometry called ray geometry, optical geometry. To understand optical geometry, we have to conceptualize something, and that conceptualized item is called ray. A ray is a geometric impression which is actually artificial. Actual world में light से कोई ray नहीं आता है, ठीक है? But we conceptualize ray to understand the geometry of light. Do you understand? And a ray will be typically shown with a arrowhead. Yeah, with the arrowhead. The arrowhead actually pointing the direction in which light is traveling. Means light. So ideally, the source will be on this side, and the destination will be on this side. Clear? And this is called a ray. So if somebody asks you, is a ray of light a real thing? No, sir. A ray of light is an imaginary thing. Why do you need it? We need it to understand the geometry of light. What do you understand by geometry of light? Various properties of light, like how are images formed, how are shadows formed, how do we design optical instruments like binoculars, camera, lenses, telescopes, microscopes, spectacles. In order to understand all these things, we need the concept of rays. Which side light is traveling, which side light is going. समझ में आया? बिना मेजरमेंट के तो हम कोई काम ही नहीं कर सकते. लाइट में हमें मेजरमेंट के साथ साथ डायरेक्शन की भी जरूरत होती है. उसके लिए हम रे लेते हैं. अच्छा, इसके बाद आता है एक और काल्पनिक चीज, उसका नाम है बीम. बीम क्या हो गया बेटा? If ray is one of the stick, then the beam is the jharu. Beam is collection of rays, and collection of rays in such a manner that all the rays will be actually going in one direction. This is called a beam. ये है हमारा beam. You can have one arrow on the opposite side. So if you ask me, in terms of geometry, say suppose there is a source of light which is this tube light right above me, and we want to understand this geometry, then what is it actually, what is coming from the tube light? A beam of light is coming, and this beam of light is comprising of individual rays. In a beam, all the rays will be pointing in the same direction. समझ में आया ना? Is beam real? No, beam is also काल्पनिक. So if this is झाड़ू का एक strand, this is the झाड़ू. ठीक है? बीम रे ये सब समझ में आ गया? आइए. Next, how do we see objects? Our next understanding is, how do we see objects? अच्छा, इसके लिए हमें तीन चीज चाहिए. पहला है सोर्स ऑफ लाइट, देन नंबर 2, जिसको देखना चाहते हो, दैट प्यारा सा सहज का गर्लफ्रेंड, यानी कि ऑब्जेक्ट चाहिए हमें. हाँ, सबको देखना है. तुम्हें अच्छा लगा तो कल परसों तुम ही जाके बाइक लेके घुमा के ले जाके आगे. ठीक है, फिर चाहिए हमें क्या? ऑब्जेक्ट चाहिए. और तीसरा कहता है जिससे देखोगे. आई नहीं है तो देखोगे कैसे? आई भी तो चाहिए देखने के लिए. आइए देखते हैं किस तरह से आप एक्चुअली एक ऑब्जेक्ट को देखते हैं. ठीक है, वेरी सिंपल डायग्राम. सो लेट्स से दिस इज आवर ऑब्जेक्ट शिजुका, राइट? और शिजुका पे गिर रही है क्या? शिजुका पे गिर रही है सूरज की रोशनी. So let's have a source of light also. So this is our source of light. Ting 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 ting. ठीक है, राइट? फिर क्या चाहिए? फिर चाहिए देखने वाले की नजर, है ना? फिर देखने वाले की नजर भी तो चाहिए, राइट? अब देखते हैं कि कैसे देखा जाता है. So the process is very simple. सबसे पहले सूरज की किरणें, light will fall on my light, and my light will reflect the light. If this diagram is achieved, then only you will be able to see your light. That is the object. Have you understood? See, I just want to make it interesting. So this is my source, this is my object, and this is my viewer. Now it is up to your imagination where you would like to place yourself. Oh, sorry. Yeah, oh, it is up to your imagination where you would like to place yourself. I am very clear. I said there's a source, there's an object, and there's a viewer. So to understand the very perspective of how a viewer views an object, without these rays you won't be able to understand it. So this particular arrangement has to be met. Light from some source has to fall on this object, right? Now it is also possible that every time sun won't be there, so at night also I am able to see my object. So at night, say you have a half moon, so the moon is also at this time behaving as a source of light, but it is a non-luminous source of light. ठीक है ना? मजा भी कीजिए, समझिए भी चीज को. The moon is a non-luminous source of light, and then see it. Clear? Okay. You have to somehow make this geometry happen. You have to somehow make this geometry happen, right? Okay, so let's see how to make this geometry happen. Some more interesting orientations. Let's say this is the viewer. Okay, this is the viewer, and there is object is standing behind the viewer. Object is standing behind the viewer, right? But viewer is very clever. What viewer has done, viewer has again put one sort of thing which is known as a mirror out here. व्यूअर हैज पुट अ मिरर आउट हियर। तुम्हें मैं डायरेक्ट नहीं देख सकता हूं तो क्या तुम्हें मैं शीशे में देख लूंगा, ठीक है? तो व्यूअर हैज पुट अ मिरर। सो इन दिस केस आल्सो हाउ थिंग्स कैन हैपन, से द सन इज हियर, राइट? द सन इज इन दिस पोजीशन and we have a ray. The ray strikes the object, right? And from the object it is say reflected on the, it strikes on the mirror, and from the mirror it goes back to the eye. End of the day, yeah, this is possible. That's how you see it. Don't you agree? This person will be seeing this person here behind the mirror, behind the mirror. How do you see that? You see that because this geometry has to be achieved. Now tell me one thing. See, like I'm standing here, right? In this room there are multiple number of objects, so many of you sitting, so many things around me. Everything that I'm able to see means light from some source is falling on that object, and that light is coming to my eye. Now a second question you might ask, sir, in the room there might be 2 tube lights or 3 or 4 sources of light, each is striking that particular television or say monitor and coming. Which image are you seeing? The brain is a supercomputer. It will process and give you the best possible image. And when your supercomputer doesn't work properly, then you say that you have vision related issues. समझ रहे हैं आप? जब आप रात को गाड़ी चलाते हैं कभी, and your eyesight is not that good, and you, rather than seeing the lamp post, lot of lamp posts are there on a bridge or on a highway, but what are you seeing those lamp posts as? Christ के क्रॉस जैसे दिख रहा है, आपको ब्लड विजन आना शुरू हो जाता है ना? बहुतों को होता है। चश्मा नहीं, you have vision problem. That means your processor is not able to process and give you the best image. That's the time when you need medical attention, है ना? मूवीज में नहीं देखते हो क्या? एक्सीडेंट से पहले सब मिरर ऐसे नहीं करके ड्राम करके लग जाता है, because he's not able to process it. Well, not that. What I'm saying, what I may see, vision is very interesting. What I am seeing, I can never explain you, because you are seeing with your eyes. Ruhan is wearing a blue t-shirt, but the grade of blue might be different for all of us. Yes. Have you heard about color blindness? Yes, there are children nowadays, these diseases are almost gone. There are many children who cannot distinguish between. That's why when a child is born to any couple, after the child starts developing cognitive little bit of skills, the first thing they will try to see is whether the child can distinguish color. So they'll give him 2-3 red balloons and then bring another green balloon of the same size. Usually a child will do what? Anything new comes, you are supposed to catch the new one. If the child is not showing any inclination for a new color, either he is not interested, or it may be that he is unable to distinguish between. There are colorblind people. In fact, one generation before us were very colorblind. We are very particular with light green, deep green. If you go and ask my mother will say, oh, green ही तो है, उसमें और light green. और आजकल क्या green है? Tangy green, peppy green. Oh, that's so cheeky green. Sea green. I just love it. It's so green. हाँ, कितना टाइप का ग्रीन है? फेबर कास्टल का कलर पैक निकालो, हमारे तो 12 स्केच पेन होते थे. रेड, पिंक, लाइट ग्रीन, डीप ग्रीन, लाइट ब्लू, डीप ब्लू, एक वायलेट, एक व्हाइट, और उसके बाद बस हो गया. यही सब तो कलर है. हमारे 12 स्केच पेन होते थे. अभी स्केच पेन निकालो तो इतने सारे आते. रेड ही कितना रेड है. Have you understood? So color blindness is also a disease. So this is how we see things. So how do you see things? You see things when light from a source falls on the object, and the objects from that object, that light has to be reflected back to the viewer, either directly or through some source or through multiple reflections. End of the day, this geometry has to be achieved. If you are unable to achieve this geometry, that means you can't view it. Right now there is a UPS behind me. I'm unable to view it. Means this room's orientation is such, no matter how many light falls on it, the reflection from the UPS is not coming onto my eyes. Put a mirror out here, the UPS will reflect that ray of light out here, and I'll be able to see it. समझ में आया? क्लियर यहाँ तक? चलिए, बहुत अच्छी बात है. बहुत अच्छे बच्चे हैं आप लोग. चलिए, अगला चीज. Then there will be a in so let's discuss something called image formation. Image formation. Now here we will learn about many terms. The first term being object. Object. In optics, object is your prime body under study. What you are studying. जैसे किसी चीज को आप देखना चाहते हैं तो उसको आप क्या बोलेंगे? Object. Have you understood? Okay. Its impression will be known as, object's impression is always known as image. Now later on we will study image can be real, image can be virtual. अब इसमें दिमाग नहीं लगाएंगे, थोड़ी देर बाद लगाएंगे. Image. So let me give you an example. Now this fellow is sitting in front of me, so he is the object. So light rays must be coming and hitting this object, and then from this fellow it is coming and hitting back in my eyes. That is what I told you. But in actually what is happening, in my eyes his image is getting created. Image is the impression created by light after it has struck some object and has got reflected from it. So our idea should be like this, that if I have an object, on this object what has to come? The ray has to come. This ray will come from a source, and then this object will again send another ray, and this ray goes to the viewer's eye. Not exactly. Here after it goes, the eye will form something known as the image. Image is the optical impression of the object. It is the impression, optical impression. You can't get inside my eyes, right? You are at your place. Your impression is being made. That's the reason these things of color blindness and color. See, what impression my eyes is making about his blue colored t-shirt can be completely different from what you. To me, this blue color can be 5th grade dark. You may say, no, this is 4th grade. We cannot test. That can be done only when you are taken to a reference study. That's why eyes should be checked periodically. Are you trying to understand what I'm saying? Say suppose your vision is not good. How do I understand that your vision is not good? If your leg is paining, you will cry. Paining. You will say it pains here. यहाँ दुखता है. छूने से दर्द होता है. You can know. But what you are seeing, how do I know? We don't know. So children who are born and are having some difficulty with their eyes, as parents, we have to be very cautious looking at them. Make them sit with you and watch TV or watch a cricket match, and there a score comes up, India 150 for 2, and you tell the child, बोलो तो score कितना है? बच्चा उठ के जाके पापा 150 for 2. मतलब इस बच्चे को विजन में प्रॉब्लम है. These are indicators that everywhere the child is, and that is how you should test. Traveling on a car and there are cars in front of you on the ORR, उसका नंबर प्लेट पढ़ो तो. Are you able to read? Somebody will be able to recognize 6 and 9. बहुत लोग दूर से 8 और 6 में कोई डिफरेंस नहीं कर पाते हैं. आप समझ में आ रहा है? All these you get to know. How did we get to know that Sahaj needs specs? Just imagine. When did we get to know? Someday there might be that he is having eye pain. That is one of the indication. मेरे को ना बहुत headache हो रहा है. Then the class teacher might have told his parents, get his eyes checked. He every time comes to the blackboard to note down any step, which is a very common problem with kids. Kids come up to the blackboard. That means there is something garbar that is happening, or you are taking it too close to read. You're not behaving normal. Dental, we can know. Any other body pain, we can know. But what you are seeing. Then one fine day, we gave Sahaj specs. And then he feels, दुनिया तो काफी साफ है यार जो मैं देखता था. So many days he used to see the world very ugly, ग्रे देखता था, क्योंकि उसकी आंखों में प्रॉब्लम है. अब जैसे उसको चश्मे लगे, he is saying that बहुत वो तो पर्ल टावर दिख रहा है मेरे को वहां पे, उसका बटन के अंदर स्टिच भी दिख रहा है. See, that is the clarity. Are you understanding? We will not be able, no one knows how, what you are seeing and how clear you are seeing. I believe I am seeing it very clear. Maybe I am also not seeing it clear. There is still a better vision than what I am saying. So you should get your eyes periodically checked. because there they will immediately, some tests that I have gone with my eyes are, they take you to a dark room, and in that dark room they will just create some stars and give you a remote sensor, wired sensor in your hand, like a bombing tool. Every time you see a star, you are supposed to press the click. Actually many times the stars don't appear, but आपने नहीं, आपके vision में रह जा रहा है. So that way they were shown you some 340 stars and you have done some 480 clicks. तभी भी आपको problem है vision का. Then to distinguish between green, red, एकदम dark room में बहुत तरह के tests होते हैं जहाँ they will actually prove that you have some problem. Railway drivers undergo enormous grade of test because they have to read signals in foggy nights also. आपको पढ़ना पड़ेगा. In fact, the most important is they will show 6 in such a way to you that you will read the 6 as 9. आपको 9 दिखेगा. Yeah. Sometimes we feel like first time once I was in OT and I came out of OT, I was all okay. Means I'm OT means operation theater. And I told that doc, I think I can go now. I can go. You're supposed to be discharged. The doctor said, are you able to? Fine, all no problem. Then there is a small notice board on that wall. In emergency, call duty nurse. Her mobile number is written. And I'm lying on the bed. The doctor just told me, can you read the mobile number? I'm seeing the entire mobile number as all blurred. He said, when you can read this mobile number, boy, get up and go from the hospital. You're supposed to be discharged. Means still the eye has not recovered. Have you undergone pupil dilation, any one of you?
Yes, sir.
When you go to a hospital, eye checkup, then they will dilate your pupil. They will bring one medicine and they will put it on your eyes. After that, your pupil gets dilated. Then take your watch and try to read it. You can't read it. You can't read anything. You can make out some far off things. Therefore, whenever there is a pupil dilation test, you should actually take someone along with you if you are driving. Because you may be able to see the road, but you can't read anything on the speedometer. And many people might be reading the speedometer like that. Achha, itna sa. If you go to villages, it's so sad. I mean, now we have our medical science have done a lot of improvement in India. Say 20-30 years back, when government started doing these cataract surgeries for poor people free of cost. And first time when cataract surgeries were done to elderly people and specs were put on them, the smile that they used to give, that the world is so beautiful to look at. उसको दिखाई नहीं देता है. Night blindness used to be a disease in India, which happens due to lack of vitamin A. हम लोग जब छोटे थे ना, दूरदर्शन में एड्स आता था, ये मोहन है, इन्हें रात को नहीं दिखता है, रात को नहीं देख पाता है. Malnourishment, हमें India was not self-sufficient in food. इतना खुश नहीं होना. अभी आप जो रह रहे हो ना, your generation, we are a very blessed generation. We are eating everything very properly. These diseases are now not to be heard of. But night blindness used to be a disease. रात को नहीं देख पाता है. रात होते ही घर में बैठ जाओ, दिन में देख पाते. ये सब चीजों के बारे में, ये आपके क्यूरोसिटी में नहीं है. तो इमेज फॉर्मेशन के लिए हमें क्या चाहिए? हमें एक ऑब्जेक्ट चाहिए, हमें एक इमेज चाहिए. और images can be real or virtual. This we will understand. And the first way to study image formation in optics, we use something which is known as a plane mirror. ना concave convex तो बाद में, plane. अच्छा, इसका spelling है PLANE. It is not plain dosa, PLAIN, plane. It's a plane mirror. Plane mirror means anything which is in a plane. एक plane में है, right? So एक मिनट के लिए प्लेन मिरर का कंस्ट्रक्शन देख लें, हमारे पास टाइम है. ठीक है. सो हाउ अ प्लेन मिरर इज मेड. प्लेन मिरर इज द मिरर which is there right in front of your wash basin where you every day morning make different वही प्लेन मिरर है. ठीक है ना, जहां आप फेस बनाते हो उसको हम कहते हैं प्लेन मिरर. ये कैसे बनता है? प्लेन मिरर बनाना बड़ा इजी है. So I'm making the plane mirror from the side ताकि आप समझे. Okay, means what I'm trying to say, children, if this is the plane mirror, I'm drawing it from this side, So a plane mirror will have a glass sheet. So this is your glass sheet. Okay, I'm making it quite thick so that you can understand. A glass sheet. Behind this glass sheet, there will be something which is known as the reflective film. Now this is for what the price is taken. this is the item for which the mirror costs you. If you use good mirrors like Modi mirrors, Saint Gobain and all, so this is the best reflective surface is silver. Acha, I don't know any of you, like if you come to my house also it's happening, like 10-12 years हो गया अगर ना, तो मिरर के पीछे से देखना थोड़ा सा पील ऑफ होना शुरू होता है. आपने देखा है? हाँ, मिरर के सामने नहीं, पीछे से होगा छोटा सा पील ऑफ. एंड दैट पील ऑफ इज समथिंग लाइक, हैव यू सीन काजू कटलीज? एवरी काजू कटली हैज अ फॉइल टाइप थिंग अटैच्ड टू इट. ऐसा फॉइल चीज निकल रहा है मिरर से. तो जो फॉइल चीज निकल रहा है ना, दैट इज एक्चुअली द रिफ्लेक्टिव सरफेस. सो अ मिरर विल हैव अ ग्लास शीट. This is your glass sheet right in front. This is the glass sheet, and this is your reflective film. Reflect, हाँ उसके पीछे रहेगा reflective film. Very light, very light. It's a coating. It's a coat, and this coat, if it is of good material, then the mirror is of very good quality. And ideally, the best coat can be done through silver. Silver is the best reflective surface. That's why all these satellites which are launched, satellites जब गिर जाते हैं ना, many people go for treasure hunting because the satellite will contain lot of silver. क्योंकि उसको तो, how does the satellite work? What is the source of fuel? Solar energy only. It has to reflect. Then behind it, behind the mirror, we will have one more coating, and this coat is known as the red oxide coat. Red oxide मतलब ब्रिक कलर जैसा एक कोट रहेगा. आप कभी भी नया मिरर खरीदेंगे ना, तो आपको उसमें दिखेगा, दिस विल बी द रेड ऑक्साइड. ब्लैक भी होता है, बट रेड ऑक्साइड इज बेस्ट. दिस इज गिवन टू प्रोटेक्ट द फिल्म. दिस इज योर मिरर, एंड ऑल दैट यू स्टैंड एंड वॉच योरसेल्फ इज फ्रॉम दिस साइड. सो दिस विल बी नोन एज माय, इस साइड को हम कहते हैं रफ साइड. क्या बोलते हैं? रफ साइड. और इस साइड को हम बोलेंगे स्मूथ. Another name we use is polished. Another name we use is reflective. So this side is either called as the reflective surface, polished surface, smooth surface, and this is called the rough side or the rough surface. Now every time it won't be possible for us to make this. Whenever we call for a plane mirror, we can't do this drawing every time. So a plane mirror symbolically is represented in this manner, which you should know. This is how a plane mirror is represented. There will be etching on one side. The edge side is actually your rough side. Clear? And this side is your smooth, polished, any one name you can use, or the reflecting side. So when you stand in a mirror, you are actually standing on this side. Clear? What does a plane mirror comprise of? A plane mirror comprises of a glass sheet. क्या हो गया रोहन? Not feeling well? बड़ा डल होके बैठे हो, कुछ लग भी नहीं रहे हो. A plane mirror consists of a glass sheet, and the glass sheet will have a protective, not protective, reflecting film. And this reflecting film actually contributes to the entire cost of the mirror. Glass का दाम नहीं होता है. Glass तो बनता है sand से, silica से बनता है. Glass is very cheap. This reflective film is all about. If you buy a mirror which is cheap quality mirror, that means the reflective surface is not good. It will slowly corrode off and peel off. If the reflective surface is good, then the mirror will be very costly. And then the reflective surface is protected by another layer. So just 1 minute. This is a sheet of glass. Behind this sheet of glass will be that silver foil. And after the silver foil has been put, a red oxide layer will be painted on it. ईटा देखा है? ईट, brick. Red oxide is, have you seen iron articles, grills and gates? Before they are painted, they will be made one dull red paint is put on that. That's called red oxide. Corrosion नहीं होता है उससे. गाड़ी जैसे, if you go to Bombay and all these places where there is lot of rain, people will do red oxide coating below their car's chamber. Galvanizing अलग चीज है. Red oxide is a paint protection. तो ये रेड ऑक्साइड लेयर रहता है. और यही जब आप बाजार से भी मिरर खरीदने जाएंगे, आपको पीछे साइड हमेशा लाल मिलेगा. इफ इट इज ब्लैक, इट इज अगेन कॉम्प्रोमाइज्ड. रेड ऑक्साइड इज द बेस्ट वन. एंड द प्लेन मिरर इन ऑप्टिक्स इज शोन विद दिस सिंबल. दिस इज द रफ साइड and this is the smooth side. Our next class we will study image formation by a plane mirror, which is very important. How does a plane mirror form image and what are the properties of image formation by a plane mirror? तो आज हमने जस्ट इंट्रोडक्शन किया. अब तक The things that are of importance for you, I'll just tell you what all things were important for you. Luminous, non-luminous, transparent, translucent, opaque, the concept of ray and beam. Okay, how do you see things? That is something that was important for you. That, and then what is a plane mirror? Don't worry too much about objects and image, because image we will deal in much more depth. So image is an optical impression of an object. You first need an object, and that object will create an optical impression in your eyes. That is called image. Okay. But what we understood today, more important, was to understand image formation, we need an object, we need an image, and we need a plane mirror. Also, we need a viewer, which we will see later on. So plane mirrors construction. Next, our job will be to study image formation by plane mirror. And what you're talking about, concave, convex, they are not called plane mirror, they are called spherical mirrors. They are called spherical mirrors. Plane mirror will always be straight. हाँ, वो ऐसा रहेगा, नौ गिनती, हाँ, ठीक है? हाँ, कुछ नहीं यार, नानी याद आएगा. मैं कैसे याद रखता हूँ? आप सब सीख जाओगे. My grade 10s also said like that, but nothing. Everything becomes easy. Nani yaad happens when you study without a concept. Once you study with a concept, अभी अगर मैं आपको बोलूं, tell me what are the rays you see from the sun, आप गिनते रहोगे, सर एक्सरे में. आप याद रखो, गाड़ी एक्सयूवी इन माय रेंज. बच्चा बोलेगा क्या आइडिया, गाड़ी एक्सयूवी इन माय रेंज, क्या क्या क्या, गामा, एक्स-रेज, यूवी, लाइट, इंफ्रारेड, माइक्रोवेव, रेडियो वेव्स. सो इजी, गाड़ी एक्सयूवी इन माय रेंज. भूतनिके की तरह पढ़ोगे तो भूत ही दिखेगा. और फिर गौधो गौधो आसी नहीं. ठीक है, आराम आराम से जाइए.